I'm going to read about Little Red Riding Hood. Now to get up. Little Red Riding Hood's mom said, "Your grand's been on the phone. She's feeling rather poorly, and she's had a little moon. So will you be a sweet over right away and take his shopping with you? It will really make her day." Now to get Granny's cottage, the only way to go was through the deep, dark forest. But was she scared? Oh no. In fact, she wondered of the path toward the bluebells grew. Then suddenly a big wolf leaped on and he said, How do you do? Red Riding Hood said to the wolf, I'm on my way to see my granny who is ill. On my granny who is ill in bed. Ill in bed. The wolf cried, Dear me. He asked, Where does your granny live? She pointed. He smiled. It's time that I was on my way. He said, Goodbye, my child. The wolf had got an evil plan to eat Red Riding Hood. And so he raced to Granny's house as quickly as he could. He jumped into the window, snatched the cap of Granny's head, shoved her in the wardrobe, and leaped into her bed. When Red Riding Hood came in, she couldn't help but stare. Goodness, Gran, you look strange. You've grown a lot of hair. And your eyes, they look so big. They've changed from blue to black. all the better to see you with a cunning wolf growled back. Red Riding Hood said, "Poor old Gran, your throat must be so sore for you to sound as bad as that you're not yourself for sure, and your ears have grown as well." She gasped. "I wonder why. All the better to hear you with come a Horace reply. "Come closer, dearest," grinned the wolf, "and give your grandkiss a kiss. You never squeak, Red Riding Hood. Had teeth as big as this. All the better to eat you with." Wolf roared. With all his might, he threw aside the duvet, and he tried to take a bite. Round and round the room they ran. He pounced and seized her cape. Poor Red Riding Hood, he was trapped. Wolf snarled, "This no escape." He was just about to eat her when her dad came bursting in. He'd been chopping logs for firewood when he heard the frightful din.
Nagpa-pop up siya. Nagpa-pop up. Bayan mo lang siya.
And the wolf looked at the big sharp axe and shouted out of the door, and who knows what became of him, for he was seen no more. When they found Gran in the wardrobe, she said, "Don't you agree Red Riding Hood needs glasses?" If she thought that was the wolf, was me. I'm reading about the donkey and the lion skin. Once there was a foolish donkey. One day he found the skin of a lion. "I can pretend to be a lion with me. This thought the donkey. It will be fun to scare the other animals, he said with a laugh. The donkey put off the skin. It made him feel brave. The silly donkey roamed around the country in those clothes.
In
disguise. He growled, "Groar, groar." When animals and people saw the donkey, they were scared. They thought the donkey was a lion. They ran away. The donkey watched the animals run away from him. He was proud of himself. He let out a loud bray. A clever fox heard the bray of the donkey did not fool him. He knew the donkey was just playing a trick. "You are a fool. Take off a silly costume," the fox said. "You look like a lion, but by the way you bray, you can only be a donkey," said the fox. The donkey tricked some of the animals, but his braying showed the fox who he really was. "You can pretend to be something you are not, but in the end, the truth will come out." The end. I'm showing you the Little Red Hen. Once upon a time, there was a little red hen who lived in a farmyard. One day, the little red hen found some grains of wheat. She took them to the other animals and the farmyard. "Who will help me to plant these grains of wheat?" asked the little red hen. "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the rat. "Not I," said the pig. "Then I shall plant the grains myself," said the little red hen. So she did. Every day, the little red hen went to the field to watch the grain of wheat growing. They grew tall and strong. One day, the little red hen saw that the wheat was ready to be cut. Now the wheat can be made into flour, said the little red hen to herself as she set off for the farmyard. Who will help me take the wheat to the mill to be ground into flour? Asked the little red hen. Not I, said the cat. Not I, said the rat. Not I, said the pig. Then I shall take the wheat to the mill myself, said the little red hen. So she did. The little red hen took the wheat to the mill, and the miller ground it into flour. When the wheat had been ground into flour, the little red hen took it to the other animals in the farmyard. Who will help me take this flour of baker to be made into bread? Asked the little red hen. Not I, said the cat. Not I, said the rat. Not I, said the pig. Then I shall take the flour to the baker myself, said the little red hen. So she did. The little red hen took the flour to the baker, and the baker made it into bread. When the bread was baked, the little red hen took it to the other animals in the farmyard. The bread is now ready to be eaten, said the little red hen. Who will help me eat the bread? I will, said the cat. I will, said the rat. I will, said the pig. No, you will not, said the pig. Red hen, I shall eat myself. So she did. The end. This time I'm gonna read Puss in Boots. The cat merged Once upon a time, there lived a miller and his 3 sons. When the miller died, he left the mill to his eldest son, his donkey, to the middle son, the cat, and his cat to the youngest son. Naiya Miller. The youngest son was, of course, unhappy with this until the cat spoke to him. "Do not worry, young master. Fetch me some boots and a sack. Everything will be all right." The youngest son did as the cat asked. Puss went off to get
After that,
Puss went off to the forest and captured the rabbit in a sack. In the sack, the cat marched straight to the king's palace and presented his catch to the king. "From my master, Marquis the Carabas, your highness," said Puss in Boots. "Thank your master," replied the king. The next day, when Puss saw the royal coach, he told his master to undress and jump into the river. Puss hid his master's clothes, then cried, "Help! The Marquis of Carabas is drowning." The king recognized the name and ordered his guards to help at once. Puss thanked the king and said, "Your Majesty, while my master was batting, some robbers came and stole his clothes." So the king told the servants to dress the miller's son in the finest clothes. When the king's daughter saw Puss' master, she fell in love with him. Then the king invited him to ride the princess in the royal coach. Puss ran ahead of the royal coach to speak to the farmers in the large, luxurious cattle field. When the king asked who owns this field, tell him it is the Marquis of Carabas. The farmers agreed happily. Next, Puss ran ahead to the castle of the giant. The giant owned all the fields, but he was the tyrant and no one liked him. "I am told you can change into anything you want, Puss? Asked the giant to show him. Immediately, the giant turned into the enormous lion. Enormous lion. That's nothing special, said Puss, with a twinkle in his eye. You're a giant. I'll be impressed if you can turn into something small like a mouse. The giant was vain and liked to show off, but the moment he transformed into a mouse, Puss pounced and ate him up. When the royal party arrived at the castle, Puss greeted them. Welcome to the castle of Marcus of Carabas. The king was so impressed by the Marcus of Carabas. He offered the miller's son the prince's hand in marriage. The miller's son and the princess lived happily ever after. Of course, with no small thanks to the clever cat Puss in Boots, who lived alongside the miller's son in the castle and was treated like a prince from that day on. The end. This time I'm gonna show you the ant and the grasshopper. It was a warm, sunny summer. There was a grasshopper in a field, and he was hopping around, chirping, and singing very loudly. Every day he sang, danced, played music, and ate his heart content. After a morning of singing and dancing, the grasshopper started to feel tired, and he lay back on a leaf dozing in the sun. On the ground, just beneath the sleeping grasshopper, an ant was hard at work. Like Little Red Hen. Huff, puff. The ants, huffing and puffing, woke up the grasshopper, who who looked down from his comfy resting place to see what the noise was. But why are you working so hard? You should be resting and enjoying yourself like me, the grasshopper said to the ant. I have worked hard. I need to store my food and get my nest ready for winter, the ant replied. But winter isn't for mothers.
4 months.
Months,
4 months.
the grasshopper said, come and play with me. I don't have time for playing, the ant said. I have too much to do. You should start collecting food and preparing your home for winter. I don't want to work or be inside on a beautiful day like this, replied the grasshopper. So the grasshopper kept playing his songs and danced in the field much. He slept in the sun and ate lots of food. The ant continued to work, storing food and making his nest warm and cozy for winter. In no time at all, the sun disappeared and the weather turned cold. The field became covered in a layer of frosty white snow. Winter had arrived. Brr. The ant was prepared for winter. While the snowflakes fell outside, the fire crackled inside his little nest. He had enough food to see him through the cold months ahead. The grasshopper searched for food, but he could not find any. He was very hungry. He had no shelter from the falling snow and bitter winds. The grasshopper remembered the ant he had met in the summer. He knocked on his door and asked him if he had any spare food. Why don't you have any food of your own? Asked the ant. Did you not store any in the summer? What were you doing? I was busy dancing and singing and eating. that I didn't do any work at all, said the grasshopper. The grasshopper looked truly sorry. He promised the ant he would work hard next summer and store his own food. So the ant gave him as much food as he could spare. It was just enough to get the grasshopper through the winter, but it was the miserable few months for him. Next summer, the grasshopper was as good as his word. He worked hard to store enough food for himself. The grasshopper even found time to help the ant to make up for his bad behavior and thank him. The next winter, the grasshopper didn't go hungry. He had learned his lesson and now he worked and played. There is a time for work and a time for play.